So the airbed survived. Very, very pleased with that. I had a comfortable night's sleep. I've got a bit of a hangover. We had quite a few libations last night. So let's find out what's outside, because it's very warm in here, so I'm guessing it's going to be sunny. Oh! I'm not going to point the camera that way because the guys are having a wash.
Sorry bro, I thought that might have been an otter or something splashing around in the shallows. I stuck a camera out and I was like, uh-oh. I'm hoping some of this has got some embers still burning, but it does look like it might be out.
Go on, strike your ferro rod into it and blow it for half an hour.
I think I will do that.
I've already been digging this morning.
Oh, have you? Yeah, okay.
Where it's all gravelly, you go out, you find a bit of moss or like a bit of kelp. Just lie on it.
Who's on breakfast this morning?
Me?
Yeah.
So thank you for making the fire.
Yeah, no worries.
It's my job. My job. It's what I
So while Skye makes breakfast, I have time to make a nice coffee and seal my completed Kuksa. And for that, I'm using a paste wax that I've made from beeswax and walnut oil.
So one of the nice things I like about this spoon butter or paste wax is that you can apply it almost immediately, and as long as you're not using hot liquids, it kind of immediately waterproofs wooden items, and it does leave a little bit of a sort of uncured waxy residue on things. Now that this is nice, you can wipe it off and you can minimalise it, but what I did with this one, and it worked really, really well, is just put it on a bit of paracord and then swing it by the fire for a little while. This gets it warmed, and that all that oil and wax mix gets soaked into the grain, and it really soaked it in really, really nicely, and it just feels so smooth. There's no waxy residue on it, and you know that the wood is nice and sort of watertight and nourished and protected. So I'm going to do that again. This is my second coat. I gave it one last night. This is the second coat, and then it should be ready to rock.
Hey, who's hungry? Breakfast time. I feel like you need to get yourself a bigger plate. Come on.
Skye, have you got a receptacle for this coffee?
Yeah. Oh, heck. I'm taking the eggs off again. In fact, wait. Is it super urgent?
Not super urgent, no.
On everything.
Anything you want any froth there, it'll all stay in.
Good.
Thank you, sir. Igor, flip the switches. I feel hollow.
I feel nothing.
No pain, no sorrow.
That's a complete like oxymoron though, because how can he be annoyed that he feels nothing?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's the great British sort of
Thing,
safari, isn't it? It's
Right.
always like, you know, there's
Right.
not that many interesting mammals around, so people just always want to go for the birds.
Get those people, don't you? Like I've seen like people out in the middle of winter and they just love wearing shorts. Like I've never been a shorts kind of guy. Like
It's just so.
if it's boiling, I'll wear them, but
He's just so.
I get that.
Like, he's a clever guy, but I just think in particular about that one subject, he's just so knowledgeable. Like
turns
that
into an
shit.
open mic night. And
Chuck
you go
out my
up
ukulele, will you? Bring it to me, pleb. Ah.
and- I just went.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Crying all the time. Crying all the time. Well, you ain't never gonna rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine.
That was a good start.
I think I can at least juggle
Ah, yeah.
3 balls.
Oh yeah, he's going.
I've never tried to go any further than this. Going up and down seems to be easier, yeah.
Yeah. Oops. But the coolest thing is if you've got 3 balls, then you can do with your 2 balls. So if you've got that, then you can, and then you swap.
Ah.
That was something I used to love doing.
There you go. Nice and sealed up. Looking good. I'm going to try it. Hair of the dog. Let's get some whiskey in it.
You know what? I think. Are we going spearfishing?
Yes.
We'll take my juggling. Make it better.
The inaugural whiskey from the Kuksa. Nice wee brew laddie from Isla. Whiskey Isle.
Cheers.
Cheers, bro. Chink chink. Oh, yes. Mmm. I hate to be a cliche, but I think that tastes better out of the Kuksa.
Yep. I need to make a pizza oven too.
Yeah. It's going to be a big day.
This old town don't smell too pretty. I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. No.
So as we are in the fine county of Argyll, we've got this beautiful expanse of crystal clear water that always does well for me fishing, and has got loads of different interesting seaweeds and things. It's really, really nice down there. I'm with a fellow lover of the water today, Skye, and Colin's in the background as well. So despite the visibility being questionable and the weather being questionable, we're going to get in there and we're going to have a swim about, a snorkel, maybe some cliff jumping.
There's no maybe about it.
No maybe about it. We're going to have a good time on the water, and we're just going to get underneath there and see what we can see, because it really is a fantastic landscape down there. Beautiful kelps, maybe even some edibles. Got some edible seaweeds I'm going to look out for today, and also maybe some mussels, cockles, clams, limpets. There's all sorts of different things down there we can take with our hands. Maybe even some crabs. We'll see. We'll see what happens when we go down there. We're just going to go down, have a little look, have a good time, and take the GoPros so you can see under the water as well. Let's get our kit on. It's all kitted out, ready to go. So here we are, looking very glamorous. This is what it takes to go snorkeling in almost the summer in Scotland. Slightly more nasally than usual.
Right, Martin had the crazy idea of this. 3, bye.
That was a big slap. We did alright there. Managed to find that brown crab. Nature appreciator in me wants to put it back. If I'm honest.
I spotted this brown crab near the end of our dive and brought it up for a look. There are limits on the crabs that you can eat. They must be of a minimum size. For brown crabs, this is 14 centimetres across the shell. And also, it's advised that you shouldn't take female crabs with eggs, or roe, as fish eggs are called, despite it being edible, for obvious reasons, i.e. we don't want to harm the local population too much. So we put this crab back to take care of our eggs in peace.
I know my French girlfriend is going to give me pelters for not eating this crab. We'll put it back this time, eh?
Oh, it's really held on tight. I'll just let it go.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Didn't know how close she came to being dinner there. So I don't know whether you can see this, but we have a friend with us. A little seal has came to say hello. A bit closer. One thing we do have here, we do a little bit of talking here because we can hear us above water, but what we do have in these little rock pools is very similar to what we've got underneath. Now what we have here are oysters. That's an oyster, that's an oyster. They're empty. There's also a sea slug there. Amazing. Very cool little sea slug there. We've got some snake lock anemones, which are actually edible as well. They're down here. And I believe that's the full oyster over there, but it's so encrusted onto that rock that I don't think I'll be able to get it off without either seriously damaging my knife or completely shattering the oyster and then obviously ruining the integrity of the meal. And obviously you've got your friends limpets here, and the rocks are encrusted with barnacles and all sorts types of seaweed. There's numerous different types of seaweed on here, and starfish.
And a merman.
A beautiful merman who's extremely hairy and very choice some. He's also got bogies all over his face as well. We never saw Mr. Seal again, unfortunately. He took one look at Skye and thought, the hell with that, I'm out of here. Yeah, we're going to do some cliff diving now because it's getting a bit cold, but I mean, the thing is we're kind of spoilt for choice. We've got so many different shellfish and little like wild edibles here that we don't really need to try very hard to get them, so we're going to do some cliff jumping, and if we want to top up our meal later on, we can just wander out into the shallows next to us, get some mussels, get some cockles. So yeah, let's just have some fun in the water, shall we? Yeah, let's get her. Well, that was great fun. We had a great time. Our bellies are sore from all the flopping, but we're all salty and nice and fresh. But no, that was just stunning. It was great, really interesting underneath there. I love seeing all those anemones in all of the seaweed. The jumping was great as well. So we'll go home, get some pizza.
Also, with friends like these, who needs an enemies?
Hey! And also, I've been out here for 3 or 4 days. Who needs more of a crab smell?
Oh no! Hey, we had a wash.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe only 10% of the damage. So yeah, Skye's going to make some pizzas tonight. So we're going to go home and without crab, and hopefully with pizza.
Hopefully with pizza. Pizza's guaranteed, man. We're
Guaranteed.
having pizza.
Non-burnt, perfectly cooked pizza.
Yeah, guaranteed. Perfectly cooked.
Oh, yeah, I like you saying that.
Like our mama used to make. Sounds like it's not quite yet, I don't think. It's getting a little.
There, yeah.
So we've had a wee bit of a snack after we're back from our diving session, and we're a wee bit cold. So now I have a little project in mind because I've got a couple more days here, so I want to be nice and comfortable, and it really takes a toll on you if you are sitting on the ground or just sitting on your bum with no backrest. So I want to again increase my comfort here by making a proper bushcraft chair with a backrest so that I can really chill out for the next couple of days. So that's my next project here. So I've got some dead rowan there, and I'm going to shape this hopefully over the next half an hour while it's still light into a nice comfy chair. So stay tuned. Go for 2 of these A-frames. So that's A-frame number 1, using the shape of the wood to basically mean I don't need to make this join myself. So that's good, that's nice, one nice and strong. And I can use the rest of these straight pieces and then lash them together to make the other A-frame. Unless, of course, this one's strong enough. I've got a natural midge repellent that I haven't used yet. there we go, that sort of idea. There's your number 1 A-frame, and there's the other one. Large counterbalance log at the back there. I might not need that, but I'll keep it on for now. And you've got to attach these and you know, maybe lash them, or I could possibly even cut some little grooves on either side and then slot them into each other and lash them on like that, and that would be even stronger, but it would involve doing a lot of cutting, so it would potentially weaken the cross members. So you can hear Skye making his pizza oven in the background there.
Sorry.
I'm just cutting. No, it's okay. I like it. It's nice. Everybody's busy. I've cut some slots into here. I've utilised these little pegs. These little junctions, I've cut them off already, but they're settling nicely against this cross member here. So I'm just going to accentuate that by basically creating a false crotch, or just like a little groove, tongue and groove kind of type thing, which the other side will fit into, and then my lashing will basically just be to hold it in place. It won't actually be holding any weight. Just got to get that out now. Ah, it's the same one we saw earlier. So I took a couple minutes just to go and enjoy the sunset there because it's really beautiful, so apologies if it's a bit dark now. Okay, so let's try this. I've cut the notches and let's fit this together, and then hopefully these notches should basically hold together on their own, and just the lashing should just keep it in place. Yeah, that's pretty good. Needs a little bit of an adjustment, but to be honest, probably do it like that and it'll be fine. Slight adjustment.
So after that little adjustment, I have to cut a few lengths to add lateral support to the frame. These pointed ends were supposed to locate into sockets of the same shape, so I could adjust the angle of the chair, but in the end this wasn't necessary, as the angle I chose was fine. And then I have to split out the boards that will bridge the gaps in the frame and actually allow me to sit on it. So this is the reality of filming on trips. Sometimes you forget to film things, or it is too dark to film. Anyway, after lashing the boards on and the frame together with some cheap natural string I had with me, the Bushcraft chair was complete. I added some support lines to the overhanging part, but it didn't really need this.
You gotta let it all hang out, fat bottom girl. You make the rockin' world go round. Dum dum dum, bound and bound, down and bound.
I thought you were gonna go do do do. Oh, just as you start filming, I make a mess.
No, that's looking good.
I know, I'm thinking I might start handling it.
Very nice, very nice.
Maybe a tiny bit more water.
What's it going in? Very nice.
Handmade pizza oven. Also very nice.
Well, if it works. This is a untested model here.
So So Skye had brought 2 sheets of thin steel with him to make this improvised pizza oven. This allows us to put embers below and above the chamber where the pizza sits. The sides are supported with some logs that he cut with my Katana 500, and they fit closely enough together to hold the heat in. At least that's the theory.
I feel like the theory is sound.
I think the theory is sound. It's just whether our gauge of how much heat is necessary is.
Yeah, we have
is right.
no idea of how much heat is in there. But I guess we'll tell you in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see.
I feel like the base is done.
Yeah?
Maybe not like super crispy. Like there we're getting there. But I don't want to cook the top anymore.
Yeah. No, it's definitely got hotter on top
So,
than the bottom.
yeah, I think keep the top like less than that and put more coals in the bottom for the next one.
Yeah. Cool.
But,
nice one.
Yeah, right.
Definitely, that's close to being the job.
Take it over and chop it, you know, it is trial and error. I feel like.
Nice. Very nice.
Have you got a plate?
Let's see you bite in. There's a serious bite there. Yeah?
It's cooked. I've got the 2 most doughy ones.
Certainly looks hot enough. I'm going to have to tuck into that. What result? Fantastic result.
Each pizza that Skye made got better and better, and they were very impressively made from scratch each time. We shared 3 between us over the course of the night, so we ended up absolutely stuffed.
Yeah, well, the last one I ate was kind of this doughy. You guys got the good bits.
I left my home, my family.
We stayed up chatting and singing until 3 AM and headed to our beds for what would be Skye and Colin's last day here.
Railway station running scared, laying low, seeking out the poor quarters where the ragged people go, looking for the places only they know.
The lads are packing up this morning, so I am on breakfast duty. So it's pancakes this morning. So I'm going to mix them up and get them on the grill, and hopefully should be ready in not too short time. Not too long a time, even. It's obviously early morning and brain's not quite started yet. And thankfully I've pre-mixed this. So I just need to add melted butter, egg and milk. Okay, now that the butter's melted on the fire, I'm going to add my egg and my milk to that mixture.
I'll just lean on that and get a crack, and now you can lose under it.
Oh no.
That's sweet.
It's beyond repair, man. Like.
Oh, no way, mate.
That's not beyond repair.
No, it might not be.
Loosen the strings off.
Ooh.
Yeah, loosen all the strings off like right away. And then I'm pretty sure I can repair that.
Honestly.
Bit of wood glue, man. I like the proper good stuff. Cause all that didn't actually snap, just the glues came undone.
Yeah. I mean, that's how they make them in the first place, they glue them all together. There might be a dowel in there maybe. But yeah, if it's, there's not that much pressure on ukulele, so you...
And just put it back in there and see if I can fix, or you could take it to an actual person that fixes things.
I take it to Tiger because he'll need to restring it on or.
Or do they do repairs?
That's an unlucky one, mate.
Yeah, mate. Before I get to Tiger, that's the only bit that's a bit like.
No, that's fixable as well. I'm pretty.
In case you were wondering, the dry mix is 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 3.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of white sugar. And I'm adding to that the mixture of 1.25 cups of milk, 1 egg and 3 tablespoons of melted butter, all mixed together.
He's just a new baby as well.
There you go, you got some extra business for me. Oh, Jesus.
But he's got loads of big songs. Oh, that's what it was. I'm coming up.
Pancake.
I want the world to know. You know that's the one I was thinking as well. It's
right.
crazy how like.
I'm gonna do the dishes. Yeah, always a lot more productive. Yeah. I like both.
That in amongst it.
Nice relaxing bushcraft video.
Oh, sorry.
There's rage in the background.
Sheer rage. God damn it! Take a sleeping bag, a tarp.
We're going to do one at a time now. Just watch that one's just out the pans for
Oh,
hot.
good man. Thank you. Lucky
I think we've all got 1, 2, 3. So there's another. Yeah, we've got one big one each, and then there's another couple of ones I can split up afterwards. So just let me plate them up.
These are massive.
They're pretty big, right? Much bigger frying pan than I had last time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Whoa. This is a feast, man.
Thank you very much, mate. Cheers.
Go, and I've got some maple syrup for you. As well.
Hardcore, man.
Plenty, mate.
Just all over again, mate. That'll do. Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Oh, that's fancy.
We're definitely not slumming it.
No, these are fantastic. So light. And that's one of the hardest things with pancakes is to keep them light.
That's a good mix, isn't it? Actually, yeah, I think you're right. Just pick it up, stuck in.
Me?
Everybody's just like that. I'm not waiting for a knife and fork.
No.
I think you got the best one, Colin, because it's warm.
The warm one.
Oh, I'm happy.
So since we had a fairly late breakfast, the lads decided to pack up and get out in the water for some fishing before they headed home, and I said I would accompany them part of the way to see them off. This was the best weather we had had so far, and so we took a while to cruise around the islands and lagoons of the area while soaking up the early summer sunshine. Well, this is goodbye. The lads are going one direction, I'm going the other. I've had a great time, and these guys are going home. I'm going to stay one more night, I'm sad to see them go, but I'm also, I can get onto some proper bushcraft now that these has-beens are off.
These has-beens.
No, nice one, guys. It's been great. Thanks very much for coming.
Yes.
And yeah,
Absolutely awesome.
I'll see you next time. I'm coming in for a knuckle punch there, mate. Good man. Jesus. Nice one, guys. I'll see you at home. Give me a wee text when you get home, and I'll see you soon, eh?
Enjoy the rest of your trip, man.
Alright.
That's been awesome.
Nice one, guys. Onwards and upwards. So now that Skye and Colin have left, I've got a couple of things I want to do in the afternoon and tomorrow that I've got left before I leave. I'm definitely going to do some snorkeling because today is just a gorgeous day. It's the best day we've had. The visibility is going to be great, and I just love getting down there when the sun is shining. It looks fantastic. It's just a good thing to do. And after that though, you can imagine I want to wash. Now we've been washing in the sea and you feel a bit salty afterwards, so I want to get some fresh water for a proper shower tonight, which is a little bit of a treat, and I love doing that. I love the ritual of, you know, heating it up on the stove, getting a nice shower when you're out in the woods. It feels like a real luxury, you know. So one of the issues about this campsite we were at is the access to fresh water is very limited. So while I was out in the canoe saying cheerio to the lads and doing a bit of fishing, I thought I'll look out for some water sources and try and fill up my big billy can here with my little water filter. So one of the things that I look for when I'm in a situation like this is I look for water loving plants. I can look at them from the coast, from the canoe, and that tells me that there's going to be at least some fresh water there, because these plants don't like to grow without fresh water. So if you just look behind you, this is one of the telltale signs for me. Now, as much as these plants look really cool, they almost look like a velociraptor is going to pop out of them and eat me. They are highly toxic. They do have a beautiful flower, but they are water-loving plants. They can't grow without some source of fresh water. They can tolerate salt, which is why they're on the coastline here. But if I see a load of iris growing down here, I know there's going to be at least a small stream or brook bubbling away up into this little valley here. Another telltale sign is another extremely toxic plant, one of the most toxic plants in Britain, which is hemlock water dropwort, and there is a ton of that in here as well, and mixed in with the iris. Along with some other things like meadowsweet, and I can see some ranunculaceae in there as well, along with some docks, even some watermint actually. Very interesting. But you can see now that we come out of the habitat that the iris prefers into this boggy terrain, the amount of hemlock water dropwort really increases. And this is one of the plants that I teach people first, you know, when teaching them to forage, because it's one of the most dangerous ones, and too many people can confuse it with things like flat leaf parsley and wild carrot, and it really is really deadly. It loves growing along watercourses like this, look. So I'm going to be avoiding that today, but as long as I can find some water for a shower, I'm happy to filter it and have it for a shower, because I'm not going to use this for drinking. I've got enough drinking water left in my tank. Filtering water for a shower may seem excessive, but you should see what I'm filtering from. There, that didn't take too long. There's the osprey's nest that I was talking about, and there is one of the ospreys now. I wonder if they still have a dependent chick in the nest. I better not hang around. So I got back to camp, and I'm just having a little bit of a snack first before I head back out to do some snorkeling and some underwater foraging for dinner. So I've got my eye on a couple of species and I've had a little look. The visibility is really good, so I'm going to go out a short while. Just got the fire started before I go and put that water on to boil, so that hopefully when I come back, it might be cold, and I'm going to have a nice warm fire, and I'm going to have hopefully really nice, fresh, warm water to have a shower in. That's going to feel great. I'm very happy sitting in my bushcraft chair. It's very comfortable. I'm really glad I made it. So there we go, I'm ready to go. I've got all my wetsuits on, I've got my weight belt, I've got my gathering bag, my scuba knife obviously on my leg there, and I've got my flippers, and I've got a mask and snorkel. So hopefully we'll have a seafood meal for dinner. I can't wait to see what's down there. So let's go underwater foraging.
Oh, now that was a result, wasn't it? I got some lovely kelp, some sugar kelp or sweet oarweed, lovely brown crab claws and legs, and some nice cockles as well. So that's a really good amount of ingredients to add to the meal that I had planned tonight. So I'm going to make a sort of seafood tagliatelle. But first, I'm looking forward to a nice shower. The fire was still smouldering, so I got that going again. And my water that I put on is really, really nice and warm right now. So I'm going to put that into my little pocket shower here. I've had this for years. It's a great little thing to just chuck in your bag. It's basically just a big dry bag, or medium-sized dry bag, with a little shower nozzle on the end of it, and it holds enough for a decent shower. And if it's warm, it's fantastic. It doesn't give a massive amount of flow, but for this sort of size, I mean, it really is quite good. Oh, it's lovely. It's really, really warm. Almost a little bit too warm, actually. Look at steam coming off me. Coming out of a really cold sea and then getting into a really hot shower out in the woods, that's just priceless. So unless you do some surfing, you're unlikely to know about these things, but these are great. I can't remember the name for them, but it's something like a, you know, a snooty towel or something like that. But it's a sort of towel that you put on and you can get changed inside it, and also you can dry inside it. And it's great for being out in situations like this. You know, you've got the canoe, bulk's not really an issue, and you've had a shower, you can put this on and it keeps you warm while you dry. Really, really good. It's got a hood as well. You can get in there and get the hair dry. I really like it. And it means if you're going surfing somewhere where you have to get changed in the car park as well, you can get changed and you don't have to offend anybody with your nudity. But yeah, that's great. And obviously having the fire going is great because it means I can warm up almost immediately. Oh, this is a good day, really good day. So here comes the fun bit, or another fun bit, because I've had a great day. I've got the crabs, I've got that seaweed as well, I've got the sugar kelp, and I've got the kelp as well. I'm going to use everything in tonight's meal. I was also going to have some spaghetti with that, just as a sort of carbohydrate as a base for the meal. And I've got some cockles as well to use. I'm just going to open a bottle of heather ale I've been saving for the last day. So Angela. Oh, lovely. So I've got a pot of seawater on the boil right now. It's been boiling since I started having my shower, and it's a really good boil right now. So water is at a premium round about here this time of year and in this particular area. So I'm going to use seawater to boil my pasta. Once that's boiled, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to use the same water to cook the crab and the cockles. So I'll put my pasta in for 10-12 minutes, and then I'll bring that out and I'll put the crab claws and the base of the legs straight into that same water for about the same amount of time, maybe 8 to 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'll show you what I'm going to do with the kelp. So while the pasta is boiling, I can show you what I'm going to do with the kelp. So I've got two types of kelp here. The biggest piece I got, hopefully you got it on GoPro footage, I don't know yet because I haven't seen it, is this. Now this is sweet oarweed. This is one of my favourite seaweeds. It's a type of kelp, sometimes known as sugar kelp, Laminaria saccharina. This is a really, really nice seaweed, and it's got a kind of sweet flavour. That kind of, the slimy outer layer is actually what gives it its sweetness, the sort of saccharin. So what I like to do with this is I can cut it into strips and I can mix it in with the pasta. It only needs cooked for sort of like 2 minutes when it's shredded, reasonably thin, almost like tagliatelle. And another thing I quite like to do with it is to cut it into small pieces and then fry it gently in the frying pan, and it crisps up really nicely and actually turns into quite nice little crisps. Now I need to rinse this because it's got a little bit of grit on it from all the silt coming in from the bay there, so I'm just going to give it a rinse and then I'm going to cut it into strips and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it in the pan. So it's getting a bit dark now, so hopefully you can still see me. So I have cut the sugar kelp into long strips, and I've also cut some smaller ones to make the crisps. So I'm just going to take the pasta out right now and then we'll cook some of the crisps. Okay, so dead simple for the crab. I've taken the claws and the legs and the base of the claws and legs, and I'm just going to stick that straight into boiling seawater. So I'm going to plunge them and the cockles I've got straight into that for about 10 minutes. Okay, got most of the pasta out. I did lose a little bit to the fire, but that's because I was using the wrong implement. So get this back to a decent boil, and then straight into there goes the crabs and the cockles. Make sure they are well and truly underneath the water. And then go, oops, so much grass and things getting stuck to them. And go the cockles as well. Lovely jubbly. Looks great. Okay, get the lid back on. Leave that for about 8 to 10 minutes. In the meantime, hopefully we've got enough heat in this pan to try some of our seaweed. I normally use oil for this, but I don't see any reason why butter wouldn't work. I'm just going to cook them until they go crispy. Now, this helps the process if you dry it first. I obviously don't have time to dry it, so I'm just going to count on the cooking doing the drying. And you can see they're turning from the sort of browny sort of yellow colour into a more of a green colour. I don't even see that in the camera. Things are going well. We're losing a bit of the light now though, so I'm going to have to use the head torch to show you any kind of fine details. The crab's almost done, the pasta's done, and my little crisps are done as well. They're a little less crispy than I would like them to be, but that's because I think they just weren't dry enough when I cooked them. Normally I would dry them first, but they're still extremely tasty. I just need to get them out very carefully because that butter is hot. Actually, yeah, they're crispy on the edges. That's really nice. They've got a sweet but intensely savoury flavour. Very, very good for you, seaweed. Seaweed's one of these things that everybody should be eating, but for some reason we don't, even though we've got tons of it. And there's almost no toxic seaweeds that can be harvested by hand, i.e. when the tide is low. This one, really good. Really, really good. Put the rest of the sort of long strips of the sugar kelp into the water with the crab, and that'll be finishing up fairly soon. And then I'm going to deshell the crab, mix the pasta and the sauce and the cockles and all together with the seaweed. Then I'll probably eat some of the crab separately from the main dish, but then I'll add the crab meat into the main dish afterwards. Now, one of the things about cooking with seawater is it's obviously very, very salty, and you make sure it's good and clean. Very, very clean around here. But obviously you don't need to add any more seasoning to it because it is very, very salty. Oh, there's the crabs done. Handy little timer on my phone there. So that's great. I'll go and get them out. Hopefully be able to show you this meal before it gets completely dark. And I'm definitely going to have to build this fire up because now that the sun's down, temperature's going down as well. I wish I'd made more of these crisps. They're really nice. I highly recommend them. There we go. So I'm just going to extract the kelp from here first, and then I'll tip the water out. A fork is definitely the tool for this. I imagine that kelp will absorb some of the flavour from the seafood as well. Well, this is going to be a delicious and nutritious meal, and mostly well foraged apart from the pasta. It's going to be very colourful as well. So I'll just get this water discarded. And you can see the crab in there. Very nice. Okay, So this is where the real meat is, in the claw. It's very hot, so I'm going to have to be careful with this. Oh yes. Oh, it's hot though. Okay, do this quickly so I don't get too burnt. Okay, that worked out well. Nice. Okay, I'm going to get the pasta into the pan with the seaweed. That frees up my cup to be a receptacle for crab meat. Okay, to break the crab, I can use my little club that I made for carving. Oh yes, look at this. Ooh, ho, 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 ho. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Look at that huge big piece of meat there. Okay, oh, that one came out quite cleanly, that's good. Oh, my girlfriend is going to be so jealous right now. She absolutely loves crab. And she's not getting any of this because she's miles away. Hundreds of miles away actually. There's all the crab meat coming off. There's a big piece of sort of gristle or sort of cartilage type stuff right in the middle there, so you either have to bite it off or scrape it off like this. And very often we would scrape this into a garlic aioli, you know, like a garlic mayonnaise, and mix it in and have that with some really nice French bread, and that would be absolutely delicious. I can almost hear you all salivating through the camera there, and there's a little bit in this into this big claw as well, so I'm going to break that. And then out it comes this little bit, so we can discard that, and then that bit goes into the pan. Very nice. And the rest of the leg has meat in it as well, so if I can pop these joints, there we go. Oh, it's hot, damn. Ho 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 ho. Very, 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 very hot. Okay, I'm going to try and break this bit as well. And there's another lovely piece of meat in there. Hopefully getting this on the camera. It's difficult for me to do this at the same time as demonstrating. Okay, that's empty now. I'll chuck that leg. And I'm starting to get a nice bit of meat now. And I can get my fork in there and pull out the rest of the meat from that leg. Grand, and that's that one done. We're getting there. Lovely. That one broke like a dream. Of course the cockles are cooked as well at the bottom of that, so pull them out. There we go, that's what the cockles look like when they're cooked. That's outside of their shell. The shells open up and usually they just fall out. If they don't open, then discard them. There's one or two that hasn't opened in there, so they won't be getting eaten. Lovely. So again, we're struggling for light here. I'm going to try a little bit of this crab meat before I put it into the pasta. This just makes me want to eat the whole thing. Without putting the pasta, it's really good. Oh, some crusty bread with some butter and some garlic mayo with that would be absolutely spectacular. But that's not my plan tonight. So in here I've got the cooked pasta. I went a bit ridiculous with the cooked pasta actually, I was pretty hungry at the time. So it's in there, I'm going to have to loosen it up a little bit. Very, very nice. I'm going to mix in the crab with that. Very nice. Bit of parmesan, left over from the potato galette yesterday, and some tomato and mascarpone sauce. that again I had planned for one of the lunches but we didn't need because we all had way too much food. Hence why I've stayed an extra day, because I've got plenty of supplies, and obviously my foraging skills can keep me well fed for quite a while. Just warming that through just to get all of the pasta separated and moving so I can get everything mixed together, and that is just looking so good. I think I'm going to have to eat this. Lovely jubbly. Well, I was going to be civilised and have this off of a plate, but since the temperature is dropping, and I'm getting hungry, I'm just going to drop it straight out the pan, and that way it will stay nice and warm. So what do you think? Looks pretty good, eh? Sorry about the light situation, can't be helped, but that is just one massive plate of deliciousness right there. Oh yes. That is delicious. Because it was cooked in seawater, salt's a little tiny bit high, but not a big deal at all. I'll have a couple of sips of beer and it'll be just fine. What a day. Fantastic. Skye and Colin, I've really gutted they missed out on this.
Let's just breathe.
Even when I'm alone, I still enjoy playing my guitar, so I treated the night to another tune, and I was rewarded with another stunning sunset, so I couldn't help getting the drone out again to capture it in its full glory.
Practice that our sins never gonna let me win.